The Bahamas today confirmed its first case of COVID-19 here in New Providence.
It's been a long 3 years since the country recorded its first case of COVID-19. But one resident says the time seemed to go by quickly. At the time, residents did not know that the country, and by a greater extension, the world, was about to enter a string of lockdowns and degrees of restrictions. Some, like social distancing, remain in place in some places today. As we approach the 3-year mark following COVID-19, residents says it has been an experience they don't want to relive.
COVID for me was hectic. Everything was tight. It was more nervous than anything else because you didn't know how this is going to pan out.
The lockdown was really hectic for us, and then the lines to the food store with your letters. That was an issue.
More than 37,000 persons have been infected and roughly 830 dying from the virus to date.
I thought it would have already left the country, in fact, the world. So it's such a surprise that we have it on a return, and I hope we can really keep it at where it's at right now, at its minimum.
Meanwhile, hundreds lost their jobs over the last 3 years, which birthed a number of businesses. This resident shared with us how she started her business just to provide for her family.
What I did with my time was I found something that I'm good at, and I made a business out of it, and that's what I'm doing right now. See what I'm saying? And she told me I can't put it in, but buy some more in them out Goodman's Bay right there by the jet ski side. We got a stall out there. You know what I'm saying? I found something to do with my time. And I found other people that were creative doing craft and different things because you're locked inside the house and there's nothing to do.
The Minutes administration was placed under fire for their mitigation methods in which they took. 3 years later, do residents think his government was fair in the management of the pandemic?
To a certain extent. I think the government was more concerned about person safety than anything else, but I think it was for the good of the people.
I think that the government did all that it could do.
I believe that at their disposal, they used whatever necessary knowledge was available for them.
What has been some of the biggest takeaway for residents?
That it doesn't matter where you look or who you look to. Only one person you could really depend on, and that is God, because he was in control of the whole situation regardless.
You had time to get closer to God because you had more time at home praying and fasting and getting your act together. 2, you had that family togetherness. 3, we learned that we don't need all these clothes. We don't need all these shoes. A lot of persons can tell you they walk out in the street and their shoes turn dry rot.
Laurentia Smith, Eyewitness News.